Hey guys, Brandon here from My Comic Universe, one of your comic book experts.
And Brian here, your other comic book expert here at My Comic Universe.
We're here today to talk to you guys about grading and pressing.
Yeah, and all things comics, all right? So, Brandon, first thing is, first of all, I love me some Superman.
Yeah, you gotta have very epic music for this epic conversation.
It is going to be an epic conversation, everybody. So we're going to go through quite a bit with you guys today on this segment. So the first thing we want to discuss with you guys is, what are you guys looking for? What are you looking to collect? Books are out there by the thousands, the hundreds of thousands, okay? And it makes it a little difficult to find what you're entirely looking for when you're not 100% sure what you want. I don't know about you, Brandon, but me personally, I love to get me a first print of a book. Second, third, and other printings, I don't really tend to go for.
When I actually first started collecting comic books, that's actually something I didn't know to look for. So when I would go to cons or to different comic shops and try to look for a good deal, I didn't know. I'm like, is this a first print? Is it a second print? You know, am I getting ripped off here?
Right.
You know, so once I found out how to tell if it's a first print, that really changed the game for me. That really made it so that I could tell if I was going to get a good quality comic or not.
Yeah, so the first thing you want to look for, and we're just going to briefly explain to you guys about how you can find out if you're getting a first print, a second print, or a later printing of that specific book, is if you look very carefully on some of the books, and Brandon, if you can grab one of your books right there up front, do those have barcodes?
I believe I have one that does.
All right. I have one right here, too.
All right, well, let's do that.
We'll do this. All right, so this was my Amazing Spider-Man number 238 that was signed by Stan Lee. Now, if you look very carefully down here below, you'll see there's a barcode there.
We also got an image back here that might help as well. If you see the 113, that'll be a number that's on the barcode, and that'll stand for 3 different things. Now, the first number 1, that's going to stand for the issue number. That'll let us know that it's issue number 1.
Yes.
The second number 1 is going to let us know what variant it is. Mm-hmm. So the next number 1 will tell us that it's the first variant or the A cover. And then there could be other variants, the B, C, D, different variants.
Yeah, usually the printers and the publishers usually go with like 2 to 3 different variants, it seems like. And then they also do the artist sketch variants. And those are usually just artists' like sketches and drawings like we've collected over the last couple years.
Which are awesome to get in your collection.
Yeah, they are. They're actually really cool. And usually the publishers just print them out as like, and it's usually like a specific number, right? So it's like 1 in 50,
yeah, 1 in 1,000,
1 in 1,000, 1 in 500. So it's for every one of those books, like every 500 books, or
if it's a 1 in 1,000, then for every 1,000 books
that's correct,
that the vendor buys, they'll get 1 copy of that. So it makes it a lot more valuable than just a regular copy.
Yeah.
And then the last number on that code is the most important. That last number is going to tell you what, if it's a first print, a second print, third print, etc.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys keep track of that. Now, if you look at, Brandon, can you hold up your Incredible Hulk number 340 there? Now, if you look at the bottom of that Incredible Hulk, there's a little Spider-Man icon, and if you look at the bottom of my Amazing Spider-Man number 238, you will see there's the barcode. Now, if you're
What's up with that?
Okay, now see, that's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of people across a lot of different forums and stuff are still very confused by that.
Yeah, does that mean it's a different print? Does that mean
it's a fake printing?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
So really what it is the barcode ones were the newsstand editions that were given out to newsstands. They used to be all over the place, but now we live in the digital age, so they abolished most newsstands. I think there's still one somewhere floating around LA, but you know, they're very, very scarce. And in fact, even at like 7-Elevens and stuff, they used to sell the barcode ones.
And then the one with the Spider-Man logo, those are comic book shop versions.
Right. And those have been changed over time through like several different like series and stuff. But as you can see, Marvel went with the classic iconic.
Yeah, a lot of the times you see the Spider-Man logo, even on other titles other than Spider-Man.
Yeah, so we're talking Incredible Hulk, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange. It was across all their series, and they were doing that more so back in like the 80s and 70s when they were not mass printing, but doing heavy like print runs.
Yeah, like the 90s and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you guys be mindful of that. It's something we wanted to bring up to your attention. If you're still, let's say you're still looking for that particular book, but weren't sure, definitely keep an eye on these tips that we have for you guys. And also, like, we'll probably post this up on our website.
We'll definitely post this on our
Yeah.
website for you. We'll
So
give you some details.
It'll give you some details. It'll keep you informed, so that way you're up to par on that.
All right, now before we start getting off topic a little too much,
Right.
let's talk about the actual grading companies. So we have three main grading companies that a lot of people will talk about. They're CGC, CBCS, and PGX.
Yeah.
I don't have any PGX
I
slabbed
don't
copies,
either. I
and for
don't.
good reason. It's not my favorite.
Yeah. So
So what do you think of the three different companies, Brian?
So here's CGC right here. Here's a CGC yellow. We're also going to be going over these labels. With
Yeah, we'll
you
go over the
just
labels in a little bit,
with
but
you
let's
guys.
go over the
But
companies first.
Yeah, well, let's go over the companies first. I agree, Brandon. This is CGC's encapsulated like grading and slabbing. This was from their signature series, as I was showing you guys earlier. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 238. I also have a Superman,
label.
a blue label, which is known as the Universal label, and this is the CGC, and this is Superman number 199. This was the first race between.
I love that one.
Right, and these are ones I'm kind of like, kind of looking for. I'm still need to get the second race and the third race, and you have the World's Finest, which is like another race, but it's the third race, and for some reason they printed them in like the same comic in two different like series, which was really cool. I mean,
Yeah, and then I got that one pressed.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, I love having that one in my collection.
Right.
But I did not get it slabbed.
See, well, that's okay because you don't necessarily, in my opinion, have to get everything slabbed. But
No,
that's just how
definitely
I
not.
feel about it. As for pressing, guys, we're gonna discuss this a little bit later in this segment with you guys as well about how to do that and how to look into the pressing services. It's really cool. So let's move on from the CGC books, and then also right here I've got a couple CBCS books. Now, obviously, this is a different.
Yeah, I haven't seen that red,
the red
label before.
Okay, so some of this grading services do it a little differently. So CGC has several different labels. The blue is the Universal label. The yellow is the Signature series.
yeah.
The green is the Qualified, or also, and the purple is known as the Restored. Technically by CGC. However, with CBCS, we also have a verified signature through their red label.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you. So, don't they have a color for non-verified signatures?
Yeah,
I thought it
well,
was purple as well.
No, actually, that verifies it under a green.
Green,
Yeah,
okay.
it's going to
that's
verify it
yeah.
under a green. So if you have a signature, like if you hold up that Spider-Man right there, we have ourselves a signed copy of
Todd McFarlane
from
just
Todd
got that
McFarlane.
signed.
We got that signed out there at Las Vegas Comic-Con. Todd McFarlane did not allow for witnessing on his signature. And the thing is he also wasn't giving out COAs, which are certificates of authenticity.
Yeah.
So there's really no way to know if that's really his signature or not. So they do have verified signature services through some of the other grading services. However, CGC would rate that under a green label as just marked
Non-verified,
non-verified, stating that it's a marker that somebody wrote on there that says Todd McFarlane.
But we can all tell it's Todd McFarlane.
But we can all tell it's Todd McFarlane, and I can vouch as your witness that I was standing right there when it got signed. So there is that, and I remember getting this signed by Michael Golden, this ROM number 1 from the new ROM series.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Space Knight. But and then I also have one other one to showcase to you guys here from CBCS, which would be the Batman number 1 Rebirth. This is the
Signed by Matt Banning, right?
Matt Banning, David Finch, and Neil Adams. This is Neil Adams' cover.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I remember when I got this sign, you also got this sign, which is sitting right up front center right there for you guys. The other,
just so you guys can see my Neil Adams cover, which is a homage to that green, the Green Lantern,
and Green Arrow. Right. Anyways, so
Basically,
so grading services vary.
yeah, let me know what you think. So CGC is the top grading company that's out there right now, according to a lot of people. But it's starting to become a little less popular. There's a lot of controversy sometimes with their grading and with their pressing. And so a lot of people are starting to look for other companies. CBCS is definitely on the rise. They're a great company. We love CBCS as well as CGC. But CBCS is stepping up their game, and they're starting to take some of that share away from CGC.
Yeah, and you know what? It is good to see that there are some rivalries, but there's business rivalries. Healthy competition, yes.
But then there's PGX, and a lot of people don't like them as much. They're a little loose on their grading restrictions, and so something that might be a 7.0 might get like an 8 or an 8.5 grading from them. It's not as reliable, at least to me, as a CGC or a CBCS.
Right, and actually, I don't know if you heard recently, they were having some sort of issue with some of their grading over at PGX. They don't know if their graders were properly verifying the grades. So they are having
there's
some problems.
Lots of issues with even a lot of the different companies, not just PGX.
It happens, but you got to do a little research. We'll gladly give you guys tips on where to go and which grading services are available to you guys. But so far, I've had a good experience with both CGC and CBCS. They tend to be on top of things.
The thing with CGC is that it is the most popular. So if you go to a con and you're trying to get something, graded, especially if you want it signed and witnessed, it could be a hassle. There's a long line. There's lots of people. So if you just go over to like a CBCS or a PGX, there's a lot less wait. It's easier to get something done. But also, let's also talk about pressing. So this is something that you might want to consider.
Hold on one second. I just want to throw out this one thing because we have already kind of been talking about it, and I feel like we just need to just kind of touch base real quickly.
What's that, Brian?
Which we haven't talked about the actual grading scale, the way that it goes.
This is an important part.
So when you're at the conventions and stuff, most of the pressing and grading services will have these little booklets out, which will give you kind of rundown of their services and what they have available, as well as the verified membership as well.
Yeah, and a lot of them have very similar services, and the grading scales are the same pretty much. But like I said, the grading restrictions can vary by the company.
Very true.
It goes all the way from a 1 to a 10.
Right.
10 is a mint, but you don't really see a lot of those. A lot of comics that you see that are in great condition will be a 9.8. Near mint.
Yeah, that's
9.6, 9.8.
That's very true. And the other nice thing I like that CGC does for you here is it gives you the nice little grading scale breakdown on their pamphlets, as well as the label, the CGC labels. So it'll tell you that the blue is the universal, the yellow the signature series, and so on and so forth.
One also thing I want to point out is that CGC has been doing this a lot more too, is adding the grader notes to the slabbed comic so that you know why you got the grade.
Now you can find that out because on the labels, on these labels, they'll print on a barcode, and you can actually go online to their website, type in the barcode, and then you can
look it up yourself,
or look them up yourself. Yeah, that's pretty convenient there. Now that's making it convenient.
Because sometimes you get a book and you're like, why did I get this grade? I thought this was a 9.8, but it's not always like that, and so you can find out why.
So true. And then also on that label, we also get title, publisher, writer, artist. Gives you a nice printout and laydown. And if you look at some of those signature series, like we were showing you guys with the Stan Lee ones, there's a nice little Stan Lee signature series.
That's something that they've been adding now. You could see they have the little Stan Lee image on the side. You can get that with your Stan Lee signature series. They've also been doing one for The Walking Dead.
Right, they did those.
And so you can have Lucille and Negan, and you can get little images on the side.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it
because
adds a little something to your book.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you. I think they're doing it so that way when you are flipping through a big box of your slabbed and graded books, you're able to be like, oh yeah, that's like part of the Stanley signature series or this.
Yeah, I
series.
like having something that just separates my Stanley, signed books from my others.
Very true.
And it's just a $10 extra. It's not that bad. It's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, no, and it's good because the next thing I wanted to mention was organization. I mean, like we all know it's kind of one of those things in life that we all kind of try to avoid, but the truth is with collecting, if you want to keep your collection in a great condition, you got to keep it organized, right?
Yeah.
And as we were saying, when you go to get your books graded, it can get a little hectic because CGC could be very busy at a con or something.
Yeah, so you want to have your stuff aligned, ready to go at the
So
time.
you want to have it ready to go. So what I normally do is I have like a notebook and I keep all my stuff in here, all my paperwork from CGC and all the forms.
That's good to keep because, it could take a while to get your books back. And
That's
if you have a
right.
couple of things out, you might forget. And so to keep it organized, keep all your forms together, you'll know what books are out, what to expect to come back.
Exactly. Now, we're not going to get into filling out these forms with you because the nice people at CGC and CBCS will definitely help you guys out filling these.
But we'll do some stuff either next time or we'll put it on our website.
Yeah, we'll definitely put up some photos for you guys to see some like particular things. But there's just one thing I want to talk about, and that would be the declared value of the book. When you go to fill out these forms, there's a little section over here that will say declared value. Now, what they want you to do here is they want you to put down a declared value.
Just an estimated value of what you think the
Estimated
book
value.
is worth in case it gets lost in the mail.
Okay, or damaged during any of their packaging, which hardly ever happens. I've
Yeah,
never
no, I
really
haven't
heard of
experienced
that
that, yeah.
happening, and I've never experienced it. So the for depending on the tiers of what book you're getting graded, you would put down the declared value.
They have a maximum value for each tier, so
Right,
you don't
that's
want to
right,
go
Brandon.
over that value, or else they're going to charge you more for the next tier.
So
I believe it's $400 for the basic tier.
yeah, that's it. Usually that's the basic, or for most of the moderns, I've noticed.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
usually the case. So, grab yourself a notebook, and if you're definitely going to get some of your books slabbed and graded, get a little organized with it, guys. It's $1 at the Dollar Tree or at a dollar store, and you'll thank yourself later on that. Now, going on, we were going to start talking about pressing.
Yeah, so if you guys are worried about the quality of your book, there are things that you can do. So there's a process called pressing where you could go and take your book, get it pressed, and it'll help take out some of the creases and certain defects in your book to bring up the grading on it. Now you can get this done through CGC, but me personally, I actually don't like getting pressing done by CGC. Everyone that I've known that's got something pressed by CGC, the book has not gone up in value, or I shouldn't have said value, but basically in the grading score. The grading
Yeah.
score doesn't seem to really go up from pressing from CGC.
I mean, it varies. I think, and what I've been told about pressers and pressing services is
Everyone is different.
everyone has
You have
their
to find
own
the
way.
right one.
Exactly. And, they all use different presses is what it is.
And different techniques.
And different techniques. But I really think it's just the overall, equipment and machinery that they're using. Some of them, fork out the cash and go with a higher grade press. And that's why their books sometimes come out. Then again, it's also not just a technical thing. It's a craft. It's a skill to do. So
Yeah, and so, one thing I want to let you guys know is that, you don't have to get it pressed through CGC. If you're going to go and get something slabbed and graded, maybe go look for other vendors or other shops that are going to do pressing. So one of my favorites is Rocket Pressing or Rocket Comics.
Yeah, Rocket
They do a
Comics.
great job. I go and get my books pressed from them, and then I'll go take it to get slabbed and graded.
So this is X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men number 32 that I picked up. I forget which. Oh, I got this at Spiro's Heroes.
Yeah, Spiro's Heroes
Yeah,
here
I
in the
picked
San
it up-
Fernando Valley.
Right, I picked this up off of Elliot over there. And if you guys ever have a chance to go there, Elliot's a great guy, and he'll make you some great offers on some great books. But I got this
Support
book.
your local comic shop.
Yes, definitely. It's very important to support your local comic shop and pick up your pull list, people. So I got this book, and it wasn't in the best quality condition, but then I went and I got it pressed, and I got
It really
cleaned,
helps.
and it looks great. I mean, it's a little difficult to see from here, probably.
The colors pop a lot
but
more.
the colors pop a little bit more. Here, take a look at that, Brandon. See what you think.
Yeah, I mean, like creases came out of the book, the colors popping more. It looks like a way better book.
Right. So if you had to give that kind of an eyeball grade, what would you say that would go?
Oh, I'm terrible at this. But I mean, this has got to be at least a 5.0.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
figured.
definitely a great,
It looks
great copy.
like a 5.
Maybe even more, even a 6, 6.5.
Yeah, that's what I figured on that. The other one that I got pressed by Rocket Press was this Flash number 141, which was like, I believe, one of the first few appearances of
Yeah,
Black
and now
Flash.
it looks like a 9.8.
I
new
bought
book.
this off of my comic shop online for, I think it was like $6, and it was rated at a 7 or a 7.5. I can't remember. I think it was a 7.5, but it looks like a 9.8.
Yeah, it looks great.
It looks phenomenal.
And that's something I want to bring up. So there's not just pressing. There's other things that you can do when you go to get something pressed. Because there's pressing, there's cleaning. So Brian, you want to talk about the cleaning process a little?
Right. So what they do is basically they do this like cleaning process where they'll work on the covers and they'll go through the book and they'll start just kind of cleaning up any of those smudges. It removes inks. They can remove crayon marks. Sometimes you'll find books where people may have written like over the DC on DC Comics, they filled in the middle, the D and the C with like lining or something,
Yeah, so-
or Marvel or whatever publisher, or like I think I found what was it, like Preacher number 3? Yeah, Preacher number 3. But somebody like took like not a Sharpie, but like a highlighter pen and highlighted the Vertigo part of the book, and I was like, I mean, it was in the dollar bin, and I know it goes for well more. It's more expensive than $1, that's for sure. But I left it anyway for somebody else to deal with. But
The main point is that
The main point is you could get
there's
them
extra
clean.
things that you can do to help bring up the quality of your book.
Yeah.
You don't have to go look for that 9.8 book. You can go look for a little bit lesser quality book, maybe something that has a few stains or some creases that need to be, pressed out, and it can really bring up the quality of that book.
yeah, so, and the best way to do that is look around. Go to the conventions, and go to just like local comic shops when they have sales. You never know what you come across. And
I'm glad that you brought that up, actually, because since it's con season, we're in the
it is
middle of
con
summer.
season. I was thinking
Let's
that,
talk
too.
about
Yeah.
a few tips for people that want to get something slabbed and graded.
Okay.
One of the main tips that I want to give out is that if you're looking to get a comic book signed and slabbed and graded, make sure that you go to either CGC or CBCS or whatever company you're going to first before you do anything.
Before you get the
Make sure
signature.
that you let them know what you want to do, and they'll have a witness go with you to watch you get that signature. If you do not get a witness, they will not count that signature. And we know from personal experience. We went to get a book signed, and the booth was right next to CGC.
That's right.
We didn't know. We
didn't
got
know.
it signed. We
got
went
it
next
signed.
to the next booth by CGC to get it
Yes,
slabbed, and they
that's
would
right.
not
And
accept
they wouldn't accept
the
it.
signature.
They wouldn't
They're
go
very
with us.
strict about that, so make sure that you get a witness if you want something signed.
Which is kind of cool because we're witnesses as well.
For CBCS, yes, we are CBCS
CBCS
witnesses, which makes it a lot easier as well. We can go and witness our own books.
So if you guys know of any signings, comment down below on the video or on our social media to let us know about signings, and we'll show up and we'll be your witness for CBCS, guys.
Now, quickly, before we go, I want to ask you one question, Brian. Non-witness signatures. Is it worth it to get slabbed and graded or not?
Well, that depends. I mean, like, it's one of those preferences of whether or not you want that book slabbed and graded, or if you want to just keep the raw copy as is with the signature. Non-witness signatures, usually, like I said, they'll probably come out as as universal blue or even as a green. Green kind of dulls down not just the quality and the value of the book.
And yeah, it
overall.
could lower the grade as well.
That's very possible because a lot of the green label ones usually don't get high grades anyway.
Since it's not a verified signature, it could be looked at as just an ink mark on your page, or a smear.
Right. But I have seen signatures that were like on the book and they weren't. They didn't receive the signature
Yeah, it
series.
usually
and they got
won't.
a universal one. and it's usually after they've gone through and verified that signature. So definitely, yeah, I would say that it's only worth it to you if you really want to keep that book in like that top quality condition. If you get impressed and you find out, hey, that book really looks great, you know it's a great quality, you know you want to keep it in that quality, you're going to do it. But
For me,
probably not.
yeah, for me, I actually, if I'm going to get a book signed and it's not witnessed, I'm just going to keep it in my collection. I have a lot of
that's
books in
what's
my
great.
collection, like this one, that are in my collection that are just signed. You could tell that it's signed by the artist or the writer, and it's just great to have in your collection. And then I have others that are not.
Right.
So it
So
just depends on what you like.
It really does. It really does. Like going through even my stack here of graded books, just like looking at them, I'm like, yeah, I wanted those ones. But like, if I was to go ahead and I'm just going to pull out of my box here, I brought a lot of great stuff, but I'm just going to pull out just a couple of books to showcase to you guys that I had in my collection. These ones are a little bit newer, but let me see if I can grab. Okay.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, there we go. So,
Wolverine #1.
Wolverine #1. I just wanted to grab a few to showcase to everybody to see some books. Now, like as you guys can see, definitely the comic book store edition. Definitely looks pretty good. Now, in our next segment, we are going to get a little more in depth with you guys on what to look for when you're looking for your books and what can and potentially can't affect or not affect your books. So just for now, I wanted to show off this nice new Wolverine that I recently picked up. I also got
The #1, the new 52?
the new 52,
Nice.
Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, first print.
And they're back together.
And they're back
doing
together.
Dark Days Metal.
Oh, dude.
We'll get on that later.
Forge and casting. Dude, it's been great. I've been enjoying it. It's a great story so far.
Yeah, we have something on our website for it, so check it out.
Yeah, check out our reviews, or what is it? Basically, just news that we talk about on the Forge and
And the casting, and we
right
give you
now.
a little glimpse at Metal.
Yeah, and then of course, Metal's got a million variants coming out, which I think we'll talk about in our next.
Yeah,
segment
but let's
for
get back
sure.
to showing off some of these comics.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so not only do I have a first print, which by the way,
Yeah, it looks like you have another one of
I
those.
have the second print of Batman New 52.
And if you look on our website, we'll show you the barcodes on both.
Yeah, we will give you the updates on those. Let me just grab some other random polls for you guys to take a look at.
The button.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and everybody's going with these. You know, those lenticular Batman #21s, they're flying up there in price already. I was
Yeah, I
totally
can't believe
shocked.
it.
Now, there's also, I want to showcase this, definitely. First appearance of Deathstroke, a little DC throw there. I
I
definitely
need to get that in my collection.
I know it is. It's definitely cool. I know that they are rewriting the script for the movie, so he may not be in the movie, but that doesn't really
Yeah, it sounds
faze
like
me.
he's not going to be in the movie
And
anymore.
it doesn't phase me at all because
No, it's still a great one to have in your
Deathstroke's
collection.
one of my favorite villains.
Shouldn't be getting books to, because a movie came out anyway.
I mean, they just hype him up too much. And then, of course, we also have a number 44.
The first appearance of Nightwing.
That's right. So, it varies on what you're looking for. Like everybody, like I said, compile your lists before you go to the cons. Make sure that you got a general idea of what you're looking for and stuff. And there are plenty of sites, including ours, which we will definitely give you guys any of the details. Just comment, ask us what you guys may be looking for at the cons, and so on and so forth.
You showing off all these books? Oh, okay. Show off this last one.
Yeah, the Michael Turner. I'm a big,
gotta have
big
Turner in your
fan
collection.
of Turner and
Me
his
too.
work. And of course, SDCC exclusives. They released some new Michael Turner Supergirls for the #1 from this series when he was still around. So they're pretty cool. They look pretty good. So
Man,
you guys
looks
can
great.
check them out on the exclusives portion.
Now, you showing off these comics, led
Right.
to this question that I have, and it's, do you prefer to have all your books slabbed and graded, or just a few of your books? Now, don't answer now, because this is going to be an ongoing segment in My Comic Universe.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for our next episode. And
Yes.
we also want to know what you guys are interested in. If you have any questions on slabbing and grading or pressing or what to look for in a comic, comment and let us know, and it might be in our next segment.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to throw out there, Brian?
I just, like you said, comment, share, like us on our social media.
Yeah, check out our website, check out our social media.
Yeah, let us know what you guys are sharing, what you're looking for. Share some. Hey, if you got press books, share them with us. Show us the befores.
Yeah, show us
and
your
after.
collection. Show us what you got.
Show us what you got.
We want to
guys.
know.
All right. I would like to thank everybody for joining us. And like I said, find us at My Comic Universe on Twitter and Instagram. And that's it.
We'll catch
for
you
me.
next time.
Catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.